Hello, welcome to this video on AI and ethical solutions. In this video, we will discuss what AI ethics should look like, an IBM example, fairly trained model CLEM, the DARE Institute, All Tech is Human and their Responsible Tech, as well as the Algorithmic Justice League. So ethics in AI usually surrounds some aspect of the following: privacy, accountability, safety, transparency, respect for human values, and fairness. Privacy, hopefully we can ensure that there is no leak of personal, confidential information. Teams working with AI should be responsible for the decisions taken and consequences. With safety, there should be control over what data is being used and in what contexts. Transparency, making sure that compliance, and in this case it says with human moralities, but really we should have transparency in these systems so that we can understand how they work. Respect for human values is ensuring the sensitivity to different cultural norms and values. And having a fair AI system includes no discrimination based on gender, race, caste, creed, etc. Now, there are several examples here. IBM does have an ethics board, and they changed their practices when Joy Buolamwini contacted them about their biased image models. She was writing a paper with someone in 2016 or 2017 and decided to contact the people that she had tested, in this case IBM, as well as several others, Google as well. And she heard back from IBM quite quickly. So within a few days, she had heard back from them about their biased image models. Their website has a large section on AI and responsible AI and AI ethics and how they balance innovation with responsibility to help adopt AI at scale. This is interesting. However, if you want to, there are more papers available for you on this page, which is linked in our resource module for today. So they do have different position papers available, including best practices, a policymaker's guide for foundational models, opportunities, risks, and mitigations, what those might look like. And as you can read here, a lot of other things like data responsibility, facial recognition, mitigating bias in AI, learning to trust these AI systems, and standards for protecting at-risk groups in AI bias auditing. OpenAI has a different view of ethics, or at least they did until recently. They have a new ethics and security committee. They are currently being investigated by the FTC for their practices with Microsoft. So this is interesting and also new because they didn't really have a safety and security committee before now. So one of the questions we have a lot of is, can these systems be trained on non-copyrighted data and still work and still be good? And in this case, we can say yes. There is a model known as CLEM, so that's the Kelvin Legal Language Law Model. Again, I've linked to this in the research modules. But this company, owned by 273 Ventures, they talk about how they are the first model to obtain the Fairly Trained certification. So this means that they demonstrated compliance with requirements for this certification and that customers can trust that the CLEM model has been trained in a way that respects the rights of content creators and rights holders around the world. So things that they used included government documents, old legal filings, everything that they could in the public domain. If you go to the CLEM website, they talk about their clean training data, their enterprise use, so they can use in legal, regulatory, and financial workflows and applications, the different types of models that they used, and how these models beat their peers in both perplexity and toxicity. They talk about how Clem is trained. They talk about the clean provenance, knowing where every word in their training data came from, and having clear documentation to support it. They talk about the copyright issues, where they don't rely on fair use to violate copyright. They don't have synthetic data, so models like GPT, Claude, Llama 2, or Mistral all rely on other synthetic data to generate more text. In this case, this model does not rely on that to generate more text. They have high quality content. They don't breach contracts, right? So they're not scraping other websites in violation of those websites, services, or use policy. And they do not contain data from sources that are known to be toxic. So mitigating some of the harms, again, we can talk about some of the organizations that are working through this. And one of them is DARE, which is the Distributed AI Research Institute. They say that they are a space for independent, community-rooted AI research, which is free from big tech's pervasive influence. On their research page, they have information about their latest publications, about the interdisciplinary work uncovering and mitigating the harms of current AI systems, research, tools, and frameworks for the technological future we should build instead. Their other current research projects are also available for you to read about. All Tech is Human is a public interest group aligned themselves to strengthen the responsible tech ecosystem. They have community, education, and careers. They have, on the next slide here, they have Slack channels and LinkedIn. They have some committees to join. So this might be an option for you if you are interested in doing something along those lines. Last organization here I'll mention is Joy Buolamwini's Algorithmic Justice League. So you can join them and learn more about how to have equitable and accountable AI. You can also contact them, and you can also report harm. So if you know you are being impacted by an AI system and that it is keeping you from something like your healthcare, you can contact them and they can try to help you out. I will point out that earlier this spring, Biden-Harris administration announced that they had key AI actions available on AI, and I have also linked to this page in the resource module. So to recap, we want to know if it's possible to have machine learning, artificial intelligence, data science, and still be ethical and have ethical practices with regards to it. And so again, I rely back on that first graphic here. When we talk about the privacy issues, anything with accountability, safety, transparency, having respect for those human values, and fairness. Whether or not the models show these things is another matter. Again, OpenAI didn't really have an ethics board or a safety and security board until very, very recently. And so we want to be careful when we look at some of these companies going forward.